Hello everyone, long time no see. So today I'm doing a reaction video because I'm an INFP and Johnny Depp is an INFP, and I have supported him. I've been a fan of his since since I first saw Edward Scissorhands. It's one of my favorite movies ever. Edward Scissorhands is an INFP too. And I've been supporting him throughout this whole thing with Amber Heard. Even before this current trial right now in Virginia, I was on Johnny's side. And I'm glad that some people now are finally coming to Johnny's side and seeing just how horrible Amber is. I've been watching the trial. I'm watching the entire thing, so it's many hours. I'm barely on day 2, but I just wanted to skip ahead. I'm going to react to this video of Johnny Depp talking about meeting Amber Heard, just because I've heard people say that, oh, he seems drunk or something like that. And it's just, I think they don't know how he talks. And I just want to see if that's actually true. I probably don't think so. I don't think Johnny's like that. And I just feel like I probably could relate to some of it because I'm an INFP. And this is going to be the first of a few videos I'm going to do of me reacting to INFP celebrities because I feel if you're an INFP, you can probably understand this, but I feel a lot of us, we feel misunderstood. And it's kind of cool to see INFP celebrities because we can kind of relate to them. And I think a lot of INFP celebrities are misunderstood as well, just like Johnny. So I just want to support my fellow INFP and watch this and just kind of hear the story of how they met. And also I think people are commenting about how detailed it is and stuff like that. And me as an INFP, I can relate to telling stories and kind of going on for a bit. Just kind of this intro is going on a little bit longer than I wanted. So let's get into it.
Can you please tell the jury how you met Miss Heard?
Mm-hmm. 2000, in around 2008, Hunter Thompson and I were going through some of his manuscripts of his books that have been published, and then I found this manuscript in one of his boxes, and it was called The Rum Diary, and I had heard about it, and I knew it was what they called his long-lost novel, in fact, the only novel he ever wrote. And I showed it to him, and Hunter was shocked. Oh my God, that's where it is, And so he said, read me some. So I started reading this to him, and he said, this is a movie, we must produce this together. And he got all excited about the idea of doing that. So we went right into it, and we started to set up meetings to get money, financing to develop the project.
Okay, so I'm just going to say real quick, I don't think, from what I've been seeing right now, I don't think he's drunk or honest anything at all. I feel people who say that just probably haven't seen him do interviews. To me, that's just how he normally talks. Him, like a lot of INFPs, we're soft-spoken, all right? So it doesn't mean we're high or anything like that.
We finally ended up getting...
Oh, sorry, also, the pauses, to me, that's normal, because sometimes... it's you're recalling information, so it takes you a while sometimes. So that also doesn't mean he's high or drunk. Okay?
The money to develop the project and to make the film. Hunter, from his own dilemmas in his life, committed suicide. But having had long talks with him, I knew every angle of the book, but I knew every angle of the film that he wanted, which was going to be a bit different than the book. And Bruce Robinson, who was a great writer-director, directed a film called With Nail and I and How to Get Ahead in Advertising, was the one director that Hunter and I talked about. And so I went to Bruce, who was a friend of mine, and I ripped him out of retirement because he never wanted to direct another film again. I pulled him out of retirement after 27 years, and he agreed to write the screenplay and direct the film. And we proceeded. During
Okay, sorry. So another thing I want to comment on is just like this kind of backstory like that Johnny is providing. Like they asked him about meeting Amber Heard, and I think a lot of other people would probably just go to like right the moment they met, right? But he's like providing all this context that I feel like backstory, and I feel people, a lot of people would be like, why are you like, we don't need to know all of this. Like we just needed to know about you meeting Amber Heard. But I understand him doing that because I feel like I need to do that too. Like when I'm telling stories, like, or just recalling stuff, like people are like, why do you need to like say all this other stuff? And it's like, I need to provide the context, the background, so you kind of understand the story a little bit more, like what I'm telling you, because in my mind, it's like, if you don't get this back information, back story, you're not going to understand. So I can totally understand him doing this, but I know it can be kind of frustrating for people who are just like, just get to the point.
the auditioning process, Bruce was before that. Hunter had very specific ideas of what these characters should be. Bruce had been auditioning girls or women for the role of Chenault in the film, and there were this sort of the starlets that were up and coming, and or there were some that were well known and things of that nature. But you know, one of the things that Hunter was very against was stunt casting. That is to say, put a bunch of very famous people in a movie and we'll let them go, and then hope for the money.
I agree with that.
In the end.
I don't like when movies do that.
So Bruce had asked me. He said he had been auditioning this one particular actress named Amber Heard. He said that he'd auditioned her 5 times, and he was he wasn't sure about her capabilities as an actress with regard to the film and the character and taking direction and that sort of thing. So he asked me if I would read with her.
Okay, I also wanted to comment on like for the people that keep saying that he speaks slow and like the pauses and stuff. I do that too because like not only just like recalling information, but it's like it's hard sometimes for INFPs to like, at least for me too, to like verbalize what we are thinking. So it's like we're searching for the right words, and maybe sometimes, I'm not saying him right now, he's trying to say anything bad, but maybe, I guess like maybe him saying that like, oh, that the director said that, you know, Amber, like he was not sure about her abilities as an actress. I think for me, like if I was going to say something like that, it's not like the nicest thing to say. So it's like you're trying to find like a nicer way to say something not nice, kind of, you know, like something kind of negative. So that's another reason it's like you kind of pause, like, how do I say this in a way that doesn't sound so bad? And also I think INFPs, like, and introverts too, I think we just kind of take time to like, we think about what we're going to say before we say it. Whereas like a lot of extroverts, they just like say stuff, but like we're more thoughtful about like what we say. So that's another reason I think he'll like pause and stuff like that. It's just like annoying as an introvert and INFP when people like assume just bad stuff or like, oh yeah, he must be high or drunk. And it's like, no, it's actually like a good thing because he's actually being thoughtful about like what he's going to say. And maybe more people should be thoughtful.
Already met a number of actresses and things. And so what I said to Mr. Robinson is I said, Bruce, I don't, if you've auditioned her 5 times, you've seen the best and the worst, I suppose. So me putting her, this girl in an uncomfortable situation saying, "Hey, all right, let's read this," I think it's a far better idea that we just meet so that I can see how she behaves, see how she reacts, because that's really all it is: reaction, behavior, and you don't have to push anything else, So they made an appointment. She came to my office. I took one look at her and I thought, yeah, that's the Chenault that Hunter wants.
Oh, could I just pause there? Like, oh my God. It's just like, you can just tell, like, I want to cry right now. I'm trying not to cry. So INFP right now, but it's just like, you can tell in his face that he, like, there's pain there. And like, even though she, gosh, even though she, did all this, she treated him horribly, like, he still kind of recalls, like, meeting her, and like, it's like a good moment for him, I guess. And like, he's saying like nice things about her, like that's, who Hunter S. Thompson wanted and stuff like that. And it's just, you can kind of just see it in his face, like the pain, like, but he still kind of has love for her. And it's kind of crazy, because she was pretty horrible to him, but that's just the kind of guy he is. And I think INFPs, like, we can be like that too, even though people have hurt us, will like think of the good times. And that's why people take advantage of us, because we are too nice sometimes and trusting. Like, I have, people in my life who I'm not friends with anymore, but like, I don't want anything bad to happen to them. I still have love for them, even though they were kind of like jerks to me. But like, yeah, it just kind of like was touching. And it's almost 6 minutes into the video and he's finally getting to the point of like when he finally met Amber Heard. So it's like they asked him about, talk about when you met Amber Heard, and it took him like almost 6 minutes to get to that. And as an INFP, that's, I understand that. It'll take a while.
That's the one. I thought, yeah, she could definitely kill me. That's what Hunter wants. And so we spoke, and she was sweet as pie, pleasant, again, intelligent, literate, very good taste. And I felt like what I felt and what I told Bruce was, look, when you put someone in a situation that they're obviously going to feel under pressure, it's not the best way to really know what they're capable of. And I made suggestions such as, and which I ended up making to Ms. Heard. I made suggestions of films that might give her some insight into what we were looking for in terms of the film. Which is to say, I gave her films like To Have and Have Not, and things of that nature, because I wanted to. There was something very important that I felt she needed to know about stillness, as opposed to, going broad or acting a little too much. So I felt like I could be a bit of a traffic cop in that sense, so that, because if we could connect, then it could work, as long as there was truth in her eyes, and as long as there was truth coming out of her dialogue, then it's all in the editing. So I felt that I could help her with that idea of stillness, And so that's when I first met Miss Heard.
How would you describe your interactions with Miss Heard when you worked together on the Rum Diary?
Initially, well, yeah, no, mostly very, very, very few interactions. I remember there was a time I wasn't working that day, but I was producing, one of the producers of the film, and it was a scene from the book that was it was a scene where Ms. Heard's character was in a nightclub and were amongst the locals, and she's very drunk and everybody's very drunk, and she ends up dancing with a few of the local, like one of the local guys and stuff, and then the other local guys start to sort of close in on her. In the book and in the screenplay as it was written, there was a requirement for nudity for the part, and I was on set the day that they were shooting that, and as I was watching the crowd coming in on her, I realized, you know what? Because I would check on Ms. Heard and say, "Are you all right? Are you sure you're okay?" Because this is, she was like, "No, I'm fine, fine, fine."
See, another example of how caring he is. If you've been watching the trial, and I think just people in general, like, there's so many examples of him just being such a caring person. INFP. So this doesn't surprise me that he was, like, checking in on her and stuff. And, I'm like that too. I have, like, a maternal thing. I work on film TV sets. And yesterday on set, a few people got hurt. Just, like, minor injuries and stuff, nothing too bad, but I kept checking in on them throughout the day, like, how are you doing, they're like, okay, I'm, like, doing better, thank you. So they appreciate that I was, like, checking up on them, and, like, I didn't have to check up on them, like, I was just caring, and I just wanted to make sure they were okay. But yeah, so it doesn't surprise me because Johnny's awesome.
But I realized that with the crowd surging in towards her, that we wouldn't have to do the nudity, because if she took her shirt off and she had a red bra on and a skirt, then if she had a red bra in her hand, when the crowd surged in on her, all she had to do was lift the red bra up out of the crowd, and there's no nudity, but it's certainly implied, because then the character disappears for a few days, and she's quite a wreck when she comes back because bad things have happened to her. So I remember telling Ms. Heard, "Hey, you don't have to take your clothes off. You don't have to take your top off. You don't have to. Everything's cool." And she was appreciative. But other than that, we didn't really have much interaction until there was a scene where I'm taking a shower, and then she comes into the room and she opens the shower, and we kiss. And that moment was it felt like something. It felt like something that I shouldn't be feeling, because she had her wife and even though it was a scene, and she had her wife, and I had Vanessa and kitties, and yeah.
When would you say your romantic relationship with Miss Heard actually began, if not in that moment?
Well, I think there was something in the kiss in the shower.
Dang it, that's it? That's all the video showed? Okay, so yeah, I can't watch the entire thing, because then this video would be really long. We're not gonna watch his entire testimony. I'm gonna watch it separately just because I have been watching the entire trial. I think I already said a lot of what I needed to say as I was watching it. It's notable how, like, even though she freaking abused him, physically abused him, he's still, like, when he thinks about meeting her, he still, you know, says all these like nice things about her. And whereas like I feel other people, if they were abused by someone or just wronged, they might like say just bad stuff about them, and like they'll forget all like the good stuff or whatever. But it just kind of breaks my heart too. Just how can she hurt someone like that? You know, I've always thought he's really sweet, and like just from like I don't know him, but just from, you know, the stories of people who, you know, I've worked with him, know him, and just how generous he is. And it's just like, how can you hurt someone so like that? It's just like, you must have no heart to like hurt someone like this, who's like, you can still tell that he still cares about her, even though, you know, they shouldn't be together and she abused him. But it's just like, it just breaks my heart. Just the same with like Britney Spears, you know, she's so sweet, and just knowing how people like have constantly like hurt her and used her, it just like my heart is just breaks because I don't know how you can be so mean and hurt like really kind people like that. Yeah, I think that's all I want to say. I don't want to make this very long. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. If you're an INFP, let me know. If you're another Myers-Briggs personality type, let me know. And I hopefully, if you're not an INFP, hopefully maybe this like offers some different perspective, you know, since I'm an INFP, I can kind of relate to him, like how he talks and stuff like that. So hopefully you got something out of this video. And yeah, I'm gonna have some other INFP celebrities I'm gonna react to, just because it's nice to see someone that you can kind of relate to, because I feel, like I said, a lot of INFPs, we feel misunderstood. So it's like I have to see other people on the internet to relate to. So thanks for watching, and I will talk to you later. And I'm sorry if my makeup's all like smeared, but yeah, talk to you guys later. Bye.